Good morning. It's Sunday, July 25th. And while many in this country are concerned with voting rights and the changes taking place in many states that will affect voting rights, another very important set of rights may be under attack in this coming session of the Supreme Court. And I am talking about abortion rights. There are several, probably more than several states that are preparing new legislation to affect the rights of those that want or need an abortion. In fact, the governor of Mississippi has declared that the science that exists today has proven that an infant, a fetus, not yet an infant, a fetus, could be viable at 15 weeks. Now, the youngest fetus in the world that ever survived, being born premature at 21 weeks, was considered a miracle. So this guy, this governor in Mississippi, Tate Reeves is his name, tells the great lie that a fetus has been proven to be viable at 15 weeks, that their organs are well enough developed to survive. They're even breathing at 15 weeks. I don't know where he's getting this information, but it's absolutely incorrect. And on top of the fact that they wanted to clear this 15-week cutoff for having an abortion, they are choosing to ignore some of the evil deeds that can happen to create a fetus, like incest or rape. Those will not be acceptable excuses for an abortion anymore in Mississippi if they're able to pass that law and then not have it overturned by the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court in this term is going to be reviewing Roe versus Wade. So Mississippi's Attorney General told the Supreme Court on Thursday that Roe versus Wade is egregiously wrong and should be overturned, as she urged the justices to allow a controversial law that bars most abortions after 15 weeks to go into effect. And she argues that the conclusion that abortion is a constitutional right has no basis in the text or the structure or the history or the tradition of the Constitution. Now, we know that the Constitution is very vague on many points. Take a look at the Second Amendment. That doesn't say you have the right to carry a gun. It just says a well-armed militia. Anyhow, this Mississippi law that is now coming up before the Supreme Court was passed in 2018. But then a federal judge overruled it. And so now it's ended up in the Supreme Court. Not the first time that a state law, has been used to challenge Roe versus Wade. Cases to overturn Roe versus Wade have come to the court over a dozen times, and they have died in conference. And I assume that the Supreme Court looks at everything and then decides whether or not they're really going to take the time to make a decision on it. So Roe versus Wade is one of those laws that has come under attack since its inception in 1973. That's a long time ago. 50 years almost, I guess. This court, with a 6-3 conservative majority, is different from any of the courts we've had in the last 60 years, where the majority was only one person on either side. So this court is thrust into the center of these culture wars. And this is happening at a time in this country when we have gone crazy with restrictions put on voting rights. Well, we are making it impossible for many segments of society in certain states to vote, claiming fraud from the big lie. Now we have another big lie in our midst, that a fetus can survive at 15 weeks. Is that insane? How big would a pizzicle be at 15 weeks? I can't imagine the size of a 15-week fetus. So the fact that the Supreme Court has agreed to review an abortion ban violates nearly 50 years of Supreme Court precedent and is a test case to overturn Roe versus Wade. Look at this through a lens, a microscopic lens. We can see that many of the more liberal laws that were passed over the past couple of years are in danger. Remember, we had to fight to get health care, something that isn't even equivalent to universal health care. But we had to fight to get that. And we had to fight to get the right to choose. And all of these rights are being attacked at the state level in various ways. So here we are with the Supreme Court that has a major conservative majority being confronted with all of these cases that involve the rights of our citizens. And we don't know which way it's going to go. So this term in the Supreme Court will be a very interesting one, led, of course, by an attack on Roe versus Wade. I think as a precedent, rights issue in this country is of great concern to me. As I look upon the disaster that individual rights cause in the fight against COVID-19, we allowed people to have rights and to ignore the vaccination mandates and the mask mandates. And we lost over 500,000 people. And we're still not done with that fight. So it's okay for those people to have rights. But it's not okay for a pregnant woman to have rights. Does that make any sense to you? Doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense at all. The issue of rights is tied into many, many things that we do in this country. And it takes, it seems, a far more intelligent group of people to decide what is the correct methodology to handle all the rights. Rights should not be governed by religious persuasion or ethnicities or many other things that factor into the equation. Human rights are individual and should be protected. But there are limits to the protection of human rights because once they get out of bounds, so to speak, once the individual rights conflicts with the rights of the masses, as it did with COVID-19, then there is a problem. I leave you with that, and I'll see you in the morning. Bye.